It's so good. It's so good. That's how I judge a good book. Does it make me feel? Does it make me pissy? Does it irritate me? I almost lit this book on fire. I almost used this as kindling. Call the police. I'm not okay. I can't complain. Ew. Just have a conversation. It's so good and I'm eating it up. This is my review of Shadow Princess by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, which is book 4 in the Zodiac Academy series. I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be spoiler free, kind of my general thoughts on the book, what I rated, the vibes I got, all the things. And then I'm going to do part 2 where basically I'm just going to rant about it because yeah, I have a lot to say and a lot of thoughts I want to get together. And then that way, when I'm later on in the series, I can come back and reflect on what I thought. I have some theories. And also, every time I finish a book, I feel like it's just healthy to rant about it and get it out. And I can only rant to my husband so much because basically he doesn't know what's going on. Okay. So let's get into part 1 of this review. For those of you that don't know, Zodiac Academy follows 2 twin sisters, Tori and Darcy. They're long lost princesses. This book, it's the 4th book of their story, and not their 4th year, it's still their 1st year at Zodiac Academy. A lot of stuff has happened since book 1. I feel like in this book, we were able to see a lot more of what kind of separates the twins as far as their personality, as far as how they handle trauma, as far as you know, just the way they deal with the things that are thrown at them in the book. And I really, really love both of the twins in completely different ways. And yeah, if you haven't read any of these books, I highly, highly encourage you to. I feel like the authors did an amazing job at humanizing all of the characters. This is a bully romance as well, and usually bully romances are not really my favorite. I like when the male main characters are just nice and mean to everybody else, but then obsessed with the female main characters. And this is more of like an enemies to lovers, kind of like that bully romance vibe. But the authors do an amazing job at humanizing all of the characters in the book. And I just really, really love all the characters. Even when I hate them, I still love them. And I feel like this book, the 4th one in the series, really made me feel. And I absolutely love that. To me, that tells me if I enjoyed a book wholeheartedly or not, if I felt something. This book really made me feel and really made me like think through my opinion of some of the characters that maybe I didn't like as much, or maybe I did like, and now I'm like, hold on a minute. I was kicking my feet and twirling my hair, and I was having a great time. I was having a ball until I wasn't. And then I was like, oh, there's stuff going on. And oh, okay. Overall, I would rate this book 4 out of 5 stars. I basically rate books based on how good of a time I'm having. The only reason that I'm not giving it 5 stars is because of the emotional damage that it caused me, and because of a trope that I'm not very fond of, which is the miscommunication trope. I cannot stand a miscommunication trope. I understand that sometimes miscommunication tropes can like help with the plot of things. Without the miscommunication trope in this book, we wouldn't have had so many good things as far as like the plot and the angst and stuff in the stories. Okay, now that I am done with the spoiler-free portion of this video, I'm going to give a warning. I'm about to get into part 2, which is going to have spoilers, and I do not want to spoil anything for anybody. So, if you want to avoid spoilers, stay away from this part. But if you've read this book and you're in the same boat as I am and you just want to hear someone rant about it and say things they love about it, then keep listening. Okay, I have a lot of things to say about this part 2, which has a lot of spoilers. So, as I mentioned in part 1 about the 2 reasons that I did not rate this a 5-star read, because if I didn't have these 2 things that irritated the crap out of me, then I would have definitely given this 5 stars, because this book was so freaking good. I thought I was hooked before at book 3. I'm like obsessed even more. Like, I'm upset, I'm sick, I'm wrecked, but like I'm locked in, okay? And they're like swimwear. So the miscommunication trope. Here's where I have beef. So the miscommunication trope throughout this book is between the 2 twin sisters, which I'm sorry, you guys have been doing life together forever and you've always had each other's backs, and now all of a sudden we're not telling each other things. we're not communicating, and then we're assuming, which you know what they say about assuming, it makes an ass out of you and I. So it's like, it's just irritating. It just felt like there were moments when I was reading where I was like, oh, you're wasting time. But in saying that, I know that if we wouldn't have had some of these miscommunication tropes, we wouldn't have had other storylines develop. So to give a little miniature info dump about why the twins aren't talking. At this point, you know, Darcy and Orion are hooking up, right? We know that. We're obsessed with them. We're shipping them. This book right here, my obsession with them is like times 1 million now. I'm obsessed with their relationship. I'm sick. But you also know that Tori, Darcy's twin sister, doesn't know about their relationship, about Orion, the professor, and Darcy, the like good twin sister, right? The sweet one. For me, I understand why Orion brought it up to Darcy, like, hey babe, like, let's not tell your sister about us. Like, you know, it could implicate us and, you know, we're all at risk. Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, just me, I'd have told my sister the second we hooked up. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, hey girl, like, gotta tell you something, you can't tell anybody. It's like twin, I don't even have a twin, I don't even have a sister, but like, girl, I would have told my sister. So she didn't know from book, you know, 2, whenever they started hooking up. She had the hots from him for day 1, okay, from day 1. Actually, did they hook up? Anyway, Darcy had the hots for this man since day 1. And it's like, her sister would like pick up on it, but it's like, your sister would understand, okay? She's going to understand no matter what. She's your freaking twin. So she should have told her when it began, but she didn't. We know why. It's like, you know, one of those things like, oh, forbidden. Like, I understand why, but at the same time, it's like, we could have avoided so much crap if you would have just told your sister. The other miscommunication trope is the 2 besties, Orion and Darius. Darius is so good. I'm so obsessed with him, okay? Darius told Orion that him and Tori hooked up, which finally, we got a couple scenes. And they are chef's kiss. But Orion didn't tell Darius about him and Darcy. And I understand at the time there was some strife between the Vega twins and Darius because he's an heir. Like, I get it. I understand. I understand the vibe. I understand the beef. I get it. But, like, you should have told your homeboy, Orion, you should have told Darius a minute ago about you and Darcy hooking up. I'm sorry, but, like, she's your source. Like, you could have just been like, you know, one thing led to another and here we are. And it's like, you could have even downplayed it, but you could have told her. So anyway, in saying that, we get to the main big deal, the main, like, crap storm of this whole thing, right? Seth, the one who cut Darcy's hair off. I want to punch him in the face. I want to shove my foot so far up his butt that it comes out of his mouth. I cannot stand Seth. But then I say that, and then there's like moments where it's like the authors write little scenes, and I'm like, but then do I like him? Like, do I feel for, like, I want to know more? But it's like, I can't stand him for the most part. Okay? We get it. You get it. I love a complex character. So I'm not writing him off forever. I'm just saying, like, as of right now, like, count your days, Seth. Count your days. I'm pissed. So anyway, Seth finds Orion and Darcy hooking up at a Halloween party. And don't even get me started why Orion was at the Halloween party. Babe, love ya, mean it. I know you wanted to surprise your girl, but, like, you could have just, like, busted up in on her in her dorm. You could have starred us to your apartment. Like, you could have done something. Like, right now, you guys have to lay low. There should have been no Halloween party. Again, I know there wouldn't be a plot, so whatever. So Seth walks up on him, busts up in him. That had me so mad. I'm like, why could it not have been Darius? Why could it not have been Max? Why could it not have been Caleb? I would have taken any of the heirs to find Darcy and Orion hooking up, except for my boy Seth, because he's such a douchebag. Like, he's such a douchebag. Him cutting Darcy's hair off, I'm like, you just don't go for the hair. That's so low. And I'm just like, the way he calls her babe and everyone, yeah, babe, oh, babe, like, I just can't. I'm so over Seth. But like I said, I love a complex character. I feel for Seth, but, like, I don't like this, what Seth's doing right here, okay? So this is where our miscommunication trope pissed me off, is I'm like, So now that Seth freaking knows about you guys, he's gonna hold it over your head. And if you would have just told your sister, we wouldn't be in this boat. And then Orion's like, I'm gonna tell Darius, you know, blah, 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 blah. But then he goes to see Darius to tell him about him and Darcy hooking up and Seth, his buddy, holding it over his head. And then Darius is all pissed off because him and Tori hooked up, which we'll get to that because him and Tori hooked up. And he's like, oh my gosh, I hate her even more. Like, this is so crazy. And he's all pissed. And he's like, I hate the Vega twins even more. Blah, 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 blah. And then Orion's like, oh God, not a good moment to bring it up. Y'all should have told your friends this a minute ago. But whatever. Anyway, so I'm stressed at this point, right? I'm like, okay, whatever. Now at first, I was like, oh, what are we going to do? But I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it adds to the forbiddenness of the love. So it's like, yes, did I have a good time? Of course. But it was so frustrating because I was like, ugh. And what good came of it is, you know, we got a little more relationship building with Tori and Orion, which I loved. Because again, you got to remember after book 3, the 4 of them, Darius, Orion, Tori, and Darcy, they all can wield the shadows now. The lunar eclipse thing that happened, you know, when Lionel kicked him into the shadow realm and now they all wield shadows and he thought he dark coerced them, but then they turn out to be phoenixes. So they're like, baby, we can't be coerced because we're phoenixes and we're powerful. So they're all like trauma bonded, okay, from that moment. So when you're in book 4, you're like, oh, the gang's hooked up. The gang's back together. Ooh, my twins, like my twins are going to be with their boys. Like, ooh, yes, we love to see it. And yes, I know Tori and Darius are like enemies at this point, but it's like the sexual tension you could cut with a knife and it's so good. And I was just so excited to like see their relationship develop more. And it's like, don't get me wrong, when she would ignore him or she would be like calling him a dragon fart or something, like I would laugh so hard and I would eat it up and I was just freaking obsessed. Love, 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 love. Not complaining about that. But like, for y'all not to be talking, we just missed out on so much because it's like, then Tori's over here in her room going to the shadow realm by herself. Well, not the shadow realm, but talking to the shadows and wielding the shadows by herself when the 4 groupies said, hey, don't do that. Hey, guys, let's not do that. And the only reason Tori's mad at Darcy is because she thinks Darcy's hiding something from her because she thinks her sister's just being stingy with the tea. Babe, your sister is having Seth hold everything over her head, but like you're too blind to and pig-headed. And that's another thing. I love a complex character. And just like Nesta in ACOTAR, if you freaking read ACOTAR, she gets on your nerves. But then you get to know why she is the way she is and what makes her tick. And then you're like, okay, love you, forgive you. But also, you're getting on my nerves. So it's just one of those moments where it's like, I know I'm going to end up loving all these characters. You know, the freaking authors do an amazing job at humanizing all of the characters, and I absolutely am obsessed, and I love it. But yeah, that miscommunication trope just got on my nerves because I'm like, I want everybody to be together and harmonious. And even if we're still enemies to lovering it, can y'all be talking? I hate the not talking, or I hate the like going to talk and have a conversation and then being like, well, you won't tell me, so ew, just have a conversation. I can't. Just have a conversation. But also, I can't complain. I see the bigger picture. I see it. I understand. And I see like the big picture of like, they're separated, so they're going through their own things. And honestly, it did give the twins a little bit of independence. So I'm like half complaining, but I'm also half being like, the plot was so good and it kept me on my toes and it kept me frustrated. And you know what? That's how I judge a good book. Does it make me feel? Does it make me pissy? Does it irritate me? You're good in my book. No pun intended. All right, so something I actually literally devoured and loved was the twins going to the palace. They like went to the palace for Christmas. Also, Geraldine, we need to talk about Geraldine and Max really quick. Pause. I'm obsessed. I know they hooked up at the lunar eclipse, but like the back and forth and the tension and like Geraldine being a little southern accent and like the way she talks is so funny. And like the fact that she's just like, you flounder butt or whatever she says about Max. It's just so funny. And like Max is like, he's like hurting over this girl. Like I love to see it. I love to see a man chase a woman. Like I just, it's like yearning, but it's like, it is kind of yearning. You know what? He's yearning over Geraldine. And I'm like, I'm eating that up. That's a subplot that like carried through this book. I'm like, I need to see more of it. I know that they got to end up together like that. They just have to. It's too good not to. And like, I love Geraldine. At first, the very first book, I was like, she's literally getting all over my nerves, but like, she makes me laugh. She's so freaking badass. And she's just, I adore her. I literally adore her. Anyway, okay. Back to the palace. So the twins, they go to the palace with Geraldine. Geraldine and her dad organize it, and it's just so cutesy. And they're like, oh, yay, we're going home. We're learning about the Savage King and our mom and everything. Lo and behold, guess who shows up at the castle for Christmas? It's the heirs. Okay, I was so excited. I was like, I knew it was going to happen because like they were all leaving school for the holiday break, and the heirs were like, see you soon, Vegas. And I was like, because they're about to be at the palace. And I love it. I love, 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 love. I don't really love when they're like, we have to show them a lesson and hurt them bad. Like, heirs are always on that BS. They're always like, oh, we're going to make them hate life and never want to come for our throne. And it gets old after a while. So when they have this little funny little banter, like, yes, they're still kind of enemies, but when they coexist in, you know, formal settings where they both are royalties and they have to do things, I just eat it up. It's such a good little refreshing break from their beef. And I just think it's stunning. So they go to the castle, they learn a little thing, some things, they see some memories, the twins, not the heirs. The twins are seeing some like memories of their mom and dad. Also, they see little visions, like stored visions from like Professor Astrar, I don't even know. I can't remember his name, but the falling star guy. And he's like walking down the steps with this little kid, trying to help the little kid escape whenever the palace was attacked. Okay, so now the Vega twins have a brother. So there are 5 graves in the little vision that the girls see. And I'm thinking, okay, if 1 + 1 is 2, so 5 graves, not 4, that's telling me they have a sibling, right? So that's interesting. It's a little Easter egg, a little theory I have. And I'm like, I'm trying to know more, right? So that was interesting to me. Also, just them learning that like the Savage King, the man was crazy and he was kind of a butthole, but like at the same time, like the mom kind of like helped turn him into a family man, and they were Elysian mates, and it was just so cute. And like, it was really beautiful to see the girls learn more about where they come from. So loved that. Also, the snowball fight. When the heirs came to the palace, they're like, yeah, we have to be all formal and like da-da-da-da, and this is tradition and whatever. But then they had like a little snowball fight, and it was just so cute, and they were bonding, and like, also, don't even get me started about the dinner. They're at the dinner with these celestial heirs, and then the council people, the heirs' parents, and Tori is sitting right here, and Darius is to her left, and Caleb is to her right, I think, and they both start putting their hands on her legs. A love triangle. Yep, love, 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 love. Because keep in mind, I need to talk about this because there's so many things about this book. I'm like, I could talk about this for like 2 weeks, honestly. So Darius and Tori, they still got that enemies. They got that hate going on, right? She wrecks his bike because I gotta go back. I gotta reverse. She wrecks his bike because she's like, I'm gonna show you, babe. Like, I'm really gonna show you. You wanna be a butthole? I'm gonna wreck your bike. You wanna make up rumors about me and my sister, about me being a slut and my sister being crazy talking to birds? I'm gonna wreck your bike. I'm gonna strike back. Because keep in mind, her and Darcy are not talking at this point because of Seth holding that over their head. So Tori's like, period, I'm gonna go wreck your bike, right? So she wrecks his bike, and then all the other heirs are like looking for her, helping Darius. They're like, we're gonna catch her. And Darius like senses, I guess, that she was there. And so they all go in opposite directions. He's like, let's split up, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, I know you're here. Come face me like a fae. Hot. Hot, 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 hot. Yeah, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So then they end up hooking up. When the fighting turns to smut, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm inhaling it. Yep, I'm inhaling it. Thank you, thank you. Oh, I'll take 75 of those. Yeah, I love, 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 love that. So they're like, they hooked up, and then they go back to her, of course, Tori. And again, she's a complex character, so I love my girl Tori. I'm on Tori's side, okay? I'm more resonate with Tori, not Darcy. Love Darcy, but it's like, I see myself in Tori. I'm like, what a stubborn, independent, annoying girl. But it's like, also love her. But it's like, I just can't wait to see more character development from her. So anyway, she's like, back on her stubborn stuff. So it's like, they've had this like weird tension, you know what I mean? Like throughout all of these books so far. And it's just, and then her and Caleb have been hooking up because she's his source, and like, she gets along with Caleb, but then he takes her on that date and it was really crappy, which love that. And I just died because like he took her to the sushi restaurant and then the karaoke. It's like, even as the reader, we're reading this and we're like, a karaoke restaurant, Caleb? Like, Anne can do better than that. Like, it's just, it's stale. And then when Caleb was talking at the treehouse later with the 4 heirs, and he's like, yeah, she didn't even like the date, like, da-da-da-da. And they're all kind of like roasting him. And then Darius is like, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done X, Y, Z. And all the things he said was like literally what Tori was talking about, which, yeah, we know. We see the foreshadowing. We know they're soulmates, but it's just, it's gut-wrenching. It's so freaking good. Fast forward to what I was talking about, the little love triangle thing. So Tori and Darius, they've like had one hookup. Before this scene, the palace, whenever him and Caleb have their arms on Tori's leg, right? And Tori's sitting there and she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, you know, whatever. And not that she doesn't like Caleb anymore, but like they're on a pause, right? Her and Darius hooked up. And so it's, and also we know she's meant to be with Darius. Okay? We know this. And also, don't even get me started about Caleb and Seth when Caleb hunted Seth, because Seth was like, oh, do you miss hunting Tori? And he was like, yeah, I do. And then I low-key was like, does this have a little kick to it? Does this have a little kick to it? Because I'm having a good time. I can see it. I could ship it. Caleb and Seth, I don't know. There's something to it. And I don't know, if they're foreshadowing that, I'll eat it up. I will eat it up. Thank you. And also, maybe Caleb can make Seth nicer. I could see that happening. Anyway, so like the love triangle thing, and Tori's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, like da 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 da. So she like removes herself. It's just hot. Then Lionel A. Crux doesn't know she's a phoenix, remember, at this point. So tries to like dark coerce her and like say these things, and he's like, and by the way, my son touching her leg, blah, blah. Just being another butthole, like he always is. Anyway, whatever. Love the little love triangle hand up the leg thing. I was like, yeah, I need more of that. I'll take a lot of those. Thank you. Also, the snowball fight. I'm so obsessed. I love the snowball fight. Xavier, anytime Xavier's in a scene, I'm like, yep, yep, yep. Again, give me 15 of them right now. Love that. I love Xavier. I love that he's like secretly texting Sophia and she doesn't know that it's Darius' brother, but I love their little friendship. I love when he was like stalking her Fae book and he was like, I counted how many freckles she had. One thing about me, if a man notices a little detail about a woman, I'm going to eat it up every time. I'm going to eat it up every time. So yeah, absolutely obsessed with that. That's another subplot that like carried in this book. Like I just love Xavier. I need more scenes of him. I am Xavier deprived and I just feel so bad for him. I want him to be the cute little lilac Pegasus that he is and just fly into happiness because he freaking deserves it. So anyway, loved that. The snowball fight was so cute. He was able to like actually have fun in his order form, which as he should. He's so freaking deserving. He's a literal angel. So loved that. And also I just loved like the teamwork, and I loved like how cute that they could all coexist for a little bit and like have a little fun, even though they have to be like formal and talk to the press and like do all the things. Also, back to Seth, how I'm like, ew, goodbye. Seth had a little moment. He had a little moment. He has a lot of little bitty moments where you're like, wait, do I hate him? Do I love him? What is it? Like, I can't figure him out. And again, I love a complex character. I love when there's multiple layers. I do love to complain before you find the layers, of course, naturally. But I do love, love, love finding out why someone ticks. Like, not that Caleb is not complex, because Caleb is a cutie and I love him. But he's very, you see what you get, right? Sweet. We get it. We understand. With Seth, I feel like I want to know more. You know what I mean? I want to like literally cut his hair off. I want somebody to cut his hair off like he did Darcy's, because that's what he deserves. But I'm just like, why? Why? Like what? Ew. Like I get it. You guys were born and bred to do this and like act a fool and challenge people but it's just like, calm down. So right whenever, this is like after the snowball fight. And keep in mind, he knows about Darcy and Orion. You have to like walk into this little ballroom essentially, or like if you pass through and you don't kiss, you get like bad luck or something. And then if you pass through and you like kiss, you both get good luck. So it's kind of like mistletoe kind of, because it's Christmas time. So Seth was holding Darcy's arm and Orion had Darius's mom, because Darius's mom has the hots for Orion, which I'm sorry, who doesn't? Orion is literally, I would drink his bathwater. Like, I'm obsessed with him. So Seth is like, notices, right? Why he's being nice, we don't know. But this was just a moment I was like, interesting. He's like, looks at Darcy and he's like, switch with me real quick, babe. You know, whatever. And she's like, okay, why? Like, random. And he switches so that she can walk in with Orion. And he kisses her on the cheek. Yeah, I love that. I love any moment her and Orion get. Yes, I'm obsessed. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, I'm having a good time. Anyway, so it's like that. It's like you can't stand Seth and you want to just like over the head, you know what I mean? But also like the way the Twisted Sisters write their characters, it's so good. They're all humanized and I freaking love it. Oh, can we talk about the throne scene? I'm sorry, can we talk about that? Can we? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So, little spicy scene. The spicy scenes in this book, so good. So freaking good. So freaking good. So freaking good. They are just, it's like, it's, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. I like smut. I think everybody does, right? Sometimes it's just like, the girls get it. The girls that get it. The girls that don't. However, to have so much smut and no buildup, no slow burn, no angst, no like yearning, no, none of that is like, whatever. This book devoured with the buildup, okay? There was smut in it. It was spicy. This is definitely an adult book, adult series. Like, children don't need to be reading this. Teenagers don't need to be reading this. But the reason the smut was so good is because of the buildup. Now, when it comes to Darcy and Orion, you're just rooting for them, okay? But again, they cannot have each other. They have to sneak around Seth. They have to like do their thing. You know what I mean? It's like any moment they get, it's like they care more about each other than they do breathing air. And it's just like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's just, it's really good. Like, I can't. And then what I'm really talking about is Tori and Darius. Oh, yeah. So every time they get together, it's just, which every time, 2 times, but it's just like, it's so good. It's just like, they hate each other so much, but it's like, they love each other so much, right? It's like, we know, you guys. Can you guys figure it out? It's just, but it's so good and I'm eating it up. And it's like, I feel like while we're reading, it's like we actually have to work for these scenes. And then whenever we get to those spicy scenes, it's like they smack you upside the head in the best freaking way. I'm obsessed. The throne scene, I can't even talk about it. If you know, you know. Yeah. I was like this the whole time. I blushed for a good 20 minutes after reading it. I had to go back and read a few verses. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, it hit. It hit real good. No pun intended. Now that I've kind of given my crazy little ADHD rant thoughts about the book as a whole, I need to get to why I almost lit this book on fire, why I almost used this as kindling, why I almost threw this into oncoming traffic, why I almost put this in a shredder. So I'm going to start with the first thing, okay? And then I'm going to end with the most frustrating for me. We know that Darius and Tori are Legion mates. Okay, babe? Especially if you read The Ruthless Boys after Zodiac Book 3 before reading this book, okay? You can see the signs. If you read fantasy, romantasy, you can see maidism from a mile away, babe. And we eat it up every time. Do I sense that people are mates and I still act surprised when I find out? Oh, well, yes, of course. However, does that mean that I'm any less shook at the outcome of this book? No, it doesn't. I knew when Darius and Tori started in that little trance and they don't know where they're walking. I knew. Okay, I knew. I'm like, great. Did I get excited? Why, no, of course not. Of course not. I don't know if it's just because I pay too much attention and I don't just vibe out when I read. And yes, I do vibe out, but I also I knew damn well that they weren't ready to become Elysian mates. I knew, because I'm sorry, Tori is too stubborn for her own good. Like I said, I see myself in Tori. That's why I think I give her more of a hard time than Darcy, because I'm like, stop, relax. Oh, take a chill pill. Oh, calm down. Forgive. Be chill. You know what I mean? Like, Darcy's so much more forgiving. She's so much more chill. She's so much more like, well, and then Tori, she's like, brick house. Okay, we get it, babe. We love you for it. We love you for it. You are the strong pillar, older sister vibe. You know what I'm saying? You are, we get it, Miss Independent. Miss Independent, we get it, okay? But when the stars are aligned and Darius actually is putting his heart in the open, and you just don't care. And that's stupid. I know that she cares, but it's just like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming because Darius has been pining for her and he's been so obsessed with her and like the way he talks about her. And now he does say hateful things, yes. And yes, he's done hateful things. So it's like on one side, do I understand why Tori's upset and not wanting to be Elysian mates? Valid. You know what, girl? Keep your standards high. Good for you. However, I also love Darius and I understand that. Look at his dad, dude. You know what I'm saying? He is the way he is because his psycho father. And it's like, good for Tori for like standing her ground. Like, it's just, so as much as I'm upset and as much as this book almost became kindling in a fire, I am understanding. And I get it. But I still rated it 4 stars and not 5 because of how upset I was. And that's not even the half of it. So anyway, I understand the fact that they are the adversaries or whatever with the black rings in their eyes. But also, after reading Ruthless Boys of the Fae, sorry, spoilers there. This is just a whole spoiler segment. Elise, you know what I'm saying? Reverse harem. You can do the math. You realize she has 4 mates. 4. Her whole freaking iris is silver, okay? There's no color in there anymore. So if Elise can have 4 mates, Darius and Tori can make it work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm hopeful, I'm wishful thinking, and maybe not. Maybe this is, I don't know. But I really, 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 really see him working it out. However, when I finished this, I was like, I'm upset. And then like Darius going away, being upset, flying through the sky, being upset, and then Tori being upset. I'm upset for both of them. I'm upset for both of them. Can you 2 crazy kids work it out? God. Anyway, whatever. Okay. The final thought I have. This is the last thing. The last issue that I'm going to bring up. Well, actually, kind of 2 issues. Okay. 2 issues. Clara, Orion's sister, kick rocks, babe. You can stay in the shadow realm. Get cozy. Tuck in, babe, because you don't need to be coming back here. You don't need to be, y'all don't need to be building a bridge for his crazy sister. She made her bed. Now, hump in it. If you know, you know. As Serena said, if you made your bed, hump in it. Why are we risking things for her? Y'all got bigger fish to fry. You got more stuff to worry about. Maybe like Lionel A. Crooks knowing your orders now. Lionel A. Crooks knows that the girls are phoenixes because they helped with the nymph attack at the palace. Why are we worried about this crazy girl from the Shadow Realms? Does that help y'all defeat Mr. Ass Crux? No, it doesn't. So then why are we wasting resources and stress? I love Orion as much as the next guy. Matter of fact, I'm literally gagged and obsessed over him. Okay? Yeah, I'm Team Orion always. But babe, his sister did it. Tori, even whenever she got scratched by his psychotic sister, saw her go from like, oh, help me, to like evil in like 0.5 seconds. So like, we know the girl is insane. So this is when my heart started to sink. Whenever Darius and Tori didn't show up. And Orion and Darcy are like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. I'm not okay. Somebody please call the police. I'm not okay. I can't do it. And then when Darcy's like, it's okay, Orion, we can do it ourselves. Darcy, love ya, mean it. Love ya, love ya, love ya. I know you are the sweet sister, but sometimes, no, we can say no, okay? That's when you need your twin in that moment. But, oh, can't have her twin. She's busy denying her freaking Elysian mate. Like, oh my God. And then whenever her and Orion actually save freaking Clara, and then she comes out and she's like, what's going on? I need to, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be, if I need to make the transformation complete, I need to feed on your brother, girl. Like, who just saved you, you selfish freak, you loser? You're gonna stab him and drain his blood? And then the book ends because Darcy's screaming for help and Orion's out here bleeding out, not moving anymore. Yeah, that was my 13th reason. Yeah. That right there is when I looked at this sweet little cutesy book and I said, I'm going to rip you to shreds. I'm going to throw you in a fire. But yeah. So yes, I am not okay. And those are pretty much all my thoughts. Overall, I guess for the spoiler portion, I am literally obsessed. I cannot stop reading. So yeah, I am not doing good. Thoughts and prayers are appreciated. But also, I love a book that, you know, chews me up and spits me out. I do love to see it. And yeah, maybe this is why I love the Twisted Sisters, because I'm twisted myself. I'm like, I love a little pain in my series, in my books. I love. I love having to work for it. Love it. But yeah, I'm obsessed. So far, like I said, 4 out of 5, just for the emotional damage, just because I was like, that's how we're going to end. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with the way these books end. It's like they end and then the next book starts on the very moment the last one ended, but they always end them psychotically. It's like, yeah. So anyway, I think those are my final thoughts. I have a lot of other things, but I'm super excited for the next book. I'm reading The Awakening as Told by the Boys right now. I'm starting it today. And I tried to read a chapter last night and I was just like, I was so pissed off. I'm like, Clara, you suck. You're a loser. And then it's just like, Orion better be okay. That's all I have to say. Orion better be okay. And Tori and Darius, they have to work it out. And Seth, count your days. Maybe if you and Caleb have a little romance, maybe it'll calm you down. Maybe we can get to know more about you. Maybe I can learn to love you. I definitely think I can. I do love a messed up character and I love character development. So having a good time. So overall, I'm obsessed. I have not had this much fun since reading ACOTAR with a series, as far as how addicted I am, how locked in, how I think about it when I'm not reading it, how every time I'm reading, I'm just like glued. It's not the same as ACOTAR. It's just my obsession with ACOTAR was so crazy and over the top that like this is the first time in like over a year now that I've been like addicted to a series. So not that I haven't read good books, but this series is different. It's nothing like ACOTAR. It's literally its own thing entirely, but it's just like fully consuming me. So absolutely recommend. And the only reason I rated this book 4 stars instead of 5 is because I was frustrated, and my rating system is more off of a like, how much fun am I having? So it got 4 stars. I would say maybe even 4.5 because it was so good. But the ending, I was just like, what am I supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I personally rated it. But I would highly encourage anyone that's interested in reading the Zodiac Academy to read this stinking book. But yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening to my rant, and thoughts and prayers are appreciated.